Welcome everyone. I'd just like to take this opportunity to introduce to you Adam McKee. Adam's our newest staff member. He's been with us since January, and this is just an opportunity to find out a little bit more about Adam and share that with you. I know some of you have had the fortune already of meeting Adam, and many of you will in the time ahead. So welcome to the team, Adam.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be with you.
Enjoying your time in Port Stephens?
Certainly.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Very good. Where have you come from?
Come from the Central Coast, so I used to live in Terrigal, we just moved up here at the end of last year.
So you were born and bred?
Born and bred in Gosford.
Uh-huh.
Grew up in Wombrel and Terrigal, so I went to Wombrel Primary School and then Terrigal High School. This is a new move.
Very good.
New part of the coast.
Very good. And what was it that led you to physiotherapy?
Fancied myself as a bit of a good sportsman when I was young. Had a few injuries and had to see a physio, which really intrigued me.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got older and realised I was never going to be a professional sports person, I thought I'd take up physio and sort of be involved in sport that way. So that's what sparked my interest.
Where's most of your sporting background been?
Just on the Central Coast in rugby union, rugby league, cricket, surfing.
Very good. Very good. And where did you study your physiotherapy degree?
Went to the University of Sydney with your good self.
Yes. And how long have you been a physio?
Well, so we graduated in 2004, so that's like 20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
Good one. And have you had any other work or employment history prior to becoming physio?
Yeah, so before physio was a change of career for me. So straight out of school I did a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry at the University of Sydney as well. So my first career was an IVF scientist, which I did for about 10 years, I think, roughly.
Yeah.
Then I went travelling overseas and bummed around Europe and then came back and decided I should get a bit more serious. So that's when I got into physio.
Very good. And so in terms of the Central Coast, like I understand that you were running your own practice. Where was that and for how long were you doing that?
I was running a practice in a part of the Central Coast called Budgewoi, which is the northern end of the Central Coast, or for you guys it's probably the southern end of Lake Macquarie.
Yeah.
Southern Lakes or something
Yes.
like that. So that was a physio practice that had been there for 40 years,
Yes.
and I was the third owner.
Okay.
So I owned that for about 12 years.
Yeah, very good, very good. And you've worked, I think, prior to that. So when we finished university, you went and worked in Victoria.
I did.
Is that right?
Yeah. So straight after university,
Yes.
it was just happenstance that took me down there, but I worked in a town called Echuca on the Murray River.
Yes.
A lot of people do know because it's a bit of a tourist town.
They do.
So I worked there for a couple of years under a very experienced physio. She had her own private practice down there, a lady called Kay Knight, which was great. So that first 2 years out of uni was having a good experience physio like was fantastic.
Excellent.
It's a good start to the career.
And are there any particular areas within our physiotherapy training that you really enjoy more than others?
Yeah, so I call myself a generalist as a physio, so I try and be across most of the aspects of physio, but my main interest lately is chronic pain, because we have a lot of people in Australia with chronic pain, and the new research around chronic pain it's a multifactorial thing that's happening. So my interest is in that, the multifactorial nature of chronic pain, and especially about patient beliefs and what their expectations are with their pain and what their treatment is. So that's kind of my go-to part at the moment.
Yeah. And outside of working, how do you like to spend your time?
Well, we moved up here, we've just bought 7.5 acres at Bob's farm, so most of my time is mowing or fixing a fence or something like that. Outside of mowing lawns, it's just spending time with the kids. We've got 3 young kids, so we do a lot of kids' sports on the weekends.
Okay.
So that or relaxing with the family.
Very
but
good.
if it was
an ideal weekend.
It was an ideal weekend, it'd be, I don't know, 6 foot offshore surf and surfing for hours and having a beer afterwards or something.
Fantastic.
Like that.
Yeah, very good. What's the favourite place you think you've been to?
Jeez, that's a hard one. So I had the good fortune on our honeymoon. My wife and I did basically a trip around the world. And we spent 6 weeks in East Africa, so Kenya and the surrounding countries, and then down in South Africa. So probably the Serengeti, Ngorongoro Crater. Got the good fortune to go to Rwanda and see the gorillas up in the forest. So that's probably it. It was amazing.
Okay, so you Central Coast boy, travelled a bit. Where did you meet your wife?
A very uninspiring story, just at the Terrigal pub on a Saturday night.
Backyard? Yeah.
I think I moved back to the Central Coast, and I was involved in the rugby club that I used to play with there, the Terrigal Trojans.
Okay.
I was doing a bit of physio for them, and a lot of my mates were the coaches at that stage, and had a couple of games in 3rd grade. And I think it was just a Saturday night after a game. So it was
Very good.
that was it.
Very good. And so you mentioned children, 3 children?
3 children.
Or primary school, high school?
So my eldest is in year 7 now, and the middle one's in year 5, and our young fella's in year 3.
Very good.
Pretty busy.
So most embarrassing thing to happen to you, does it involve children, or is it physio related, or?
There's too big a list, isn't there?
Yeah, normally.
No, I'll give you one which is physio related.
Okay.
I think probably most embarrassing is treating a patient's shoulder and going through talking about their shoulder, then laying them down on the bed and starting to do some treatment on the shoulder with their hands. And after about 2 or 3 minutes, the patient said, "Oh, Adam, you know it's the other side, don't you?" I was like, "Oh, that's right." So I think I'd rolled them over a couple of times, and I'd sort of forgotten which one was left and right, and then changed ends. And anyway,
That's right.
That's probably the most embarrassing moment.
No, I think we've all been guilty of that one. So, and then I guess on the East Coast here, where we've got, in terms of football, we've got all the codes here. If we talk football, Steedon, Gilberts, etc. Where do you? Is it Sharon? Like, where do your interests primarily lie?
Yeah. So I'm a Gilbert man, so I'm a rugby man at heart, which is hard at the moment because the Australian teams and the Wallabies are not exactly firing. So I still keep up with my rugby. Of the other sports, I really love watching AFL. AFL's great. I think it's fantastic to watch on the TV and to go to a game. I've been to one game, the Swans once, and it was fantastic. So probably the Sharon's pretty interesting. I'm learning to enjoy soccer more, the round ball. My young fella plays it. Still kills me when I see the players dive. But anyway, I mean, it's enjoyable. And then I certainly keep up with the rugby league. I don't particularly watch it. Like, I'll watch grand finals and semi-finals, and I'll see it on the news and keep up with it, but probably watch it the least.
So there's no particular team that you are tied to or support?
Well, yeah, I'd follow the Waratahs, of course. Perennial disappointments every year. It kill me, break my heart.
AFL?
AFL, anyone but Collingwood.
Very
probably.
good.
The Sydney Swans. Sydney Swans I'll probably follow the most. Get on the bandwagon when they're going well.
Okay.
Rugby league, anyone but the Broncos.
Okay, that's good.
And soccer.
Any round ball interest?
Oh, yes. Mighty Mariners, Central Coast Mariners.
Ah, very good.
And everyone's always got to have an EPL team, so Liverpool.
Okay.
Liverpool in the EPL, because that's where my grandmother was from.
Ah, very good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Broncos, well, you don't miss anything there. So, anyhow, welcome to Port Stephens. It's been a pleasure having you here already. And for everybody watching this, we are happy to introduce you to Adam, and please come in and take advantage of his skills.